His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa received at Al-Safriya Palace the personal representative of His Majesty the King and President of the Supreme Council for the Environment, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad Al Khalifa, and a number of concerned officials. The meeting reviewed various topics related to the preservation and development of Bahrain's marine, fisheries and wildlife resources and measures being implemented to safeguard these resources. His Majesty the King commended the SCE's efforts in cooperation with various ministries and government entities to protect Bahrain's natural wealth. His Majesty emphasized the importance of ensuring the sustainability of these resources for future generations through effective plans and programs. His Majesty the King noted the importance of regulating wildlife preservation efforts, enacting laws to protect and conserve these resources, and monitoring wildlife to ensure collective benefit. His Majesty wished them further success in their endeavor. For his part, His Highness expressed thanks and appreciation to His Majesty the King for his continuous support for the SCE's efforts, plans, programs, and initiatives aimed at serving Bahrain and its people. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa received at Al-Safriya Palace the chairman of Al-Islah Society, Dr. Abdul Latif Ahmed Al-Sheikh, and the society's board members. His Majesty the King welcomed them and commended the society's social, humanitarian and charitable programs benefiting the kingdom and its citizens. The chairman of Al-Islah Society delivered a speech in which he expressed pleasure in meeting with His Majesty and appreciation for His Majesty's continuous support and dedication to the Quran, its teachers, and its memorizers. Dr. Al-Sheikh congratulated His Majesty on the silver jubilee of his accession to the throne, highlighting His Majesty's efforts in promoting Quran values, supporting Quran centers, and honoring memorizers and teachers. He highlighted Bahrain's distinguished Quran scholars and competition winners, noting His Majesty the King's patronage of Quran memorization events in 2015, 2019 and 2024, which reinforces the Society's role in all national associations and centers in building a Bahraini society that adheres to its religious and national values. He commended His Majesty the King's leadership in political, economic, and education and culture, and commitment to strengthening family, youth, women, and sports initiatives. He also highlighted the support of the government led by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa.
على تعزيز القيم الإسلامية وتشجيع الأجيال على الالتزام بكتاب الله تعالى حفظا لها ولدينها، ما يعزز من دور جمعية الإصلاح وجميع الجمعيات والمراكز الوطنية ورسالتها في المساهمة في بناء مجتمع بحريني متمسك بقيمه الدينية والوطنية. صاحب الجلالة حفظكم الله ورعاكم، إنما سبق من اهتمام بكتاب الله ومواصلة للإنجازات التي تعيشها مملكتنا الغالية في ظل عهدكم الميمون على كافة الأصعدة وفي جميع المجالات السياسية والاقتصادية والاجتماعية والثقافية والتعليمية والعلمية وفي ميدان الأسرة والمرأة والشباب والرياضة، وما تنعم به البحرين الغالية من أمن وأمان وتطور، إنما يرجع فيه الفضل بعد فضل الله تبارك وتعالى إلى جلالتكم وقيادتكم الحكيمة، وبدعم ومساندة من الحكومة الموقرة، وعلى رأسها صاحب السمو الأمير سلمان بن حمد آل خليفة ولي عهدكم الأمين رئيس الوزراء حفظه الله ورعاه. وبارك الله في عمركم وأدامكم ذخرا للقرآن وأهله ولوطننا الغالي وشعبكم البحرين. شكرا.
His Majesty the King commended Al-Islah Society for its efforts in promoting national unity, fostering love and loyalty to the nation, and advancing Quran education and teachings. His Majesty emphasized the strong bonds among Bahraini people rooted in their educated and civilized culture, and underscored the commitment to citizens' prosperity, wishing them success in their efforts. His Majesty the King expressed pride in Bahrain's contributions to charitable, humanitarian and voluntary work, highlighted the unity of its people, inspired by Islamic values and Bahraini traditions. His Majesty also hailed the people of Bahrain for their love and charity and their adherence to the values of social solidarity. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa visited the family of the late advisor to His Majesty the King for Cultural and Scientific Affairs, Dr. Muhammad bin Jabir Lansari. His Majesty the King extended his condolences over the demise of Dr. Lansari, praying to Allah the Almighty to grant him mercy and peace, and to grant his family patience and solace. His Majesty the King praised the late Dr. Lansari for his remarkable 7-decade career, emphasizing his significant contributions to intellectual, cultural, and literary fields. His Majesty highlighted his role in enriching Arab culture and libraries, as well as the respect and recognition he received locally and internationally as a prominent writer and thinker, among the numerous awards for his contributions to science, literature, and politics. His Majesty expressed Bahrain's pride in the late Dr. Lansari, describing him as one of the kingdom's loyal and devoted figures who contributed significantly to Bahrain's progress and defended the country's cause through his writings. His Majesty the King recalled the late Dr. Lansari's contributions to Bahrain's development and his efforts to further strengthen democratic values. The family of the late Dr. Lansari expressed their gratitude to His Majesty the King for his condolences and His Majesty's praise of his efforts and contributions. They prayed to Allah the Almighty to grant His Majesty abundant health and happiness, wishing the kingdom further progress and prosperity. The Deputy Prime Minister Sheikh Khalid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa chaired the weekly cabinet meeting at Gdaybiya Palace. The cabinet underscored the strategic importance of developing the Hawar Islands archipelago, emphasizing their pivotal tourism in advancing the kingdom's comprehensive development under the leadership of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and the support of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa. The cabinet highlighted that Hawar Islands archipelago development projects will be overseen by the Higher Authority for Hawar Islands Development, chaired by His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the personal representative of His Majesty the King and President of the Supreme Council for Environment. The recently inaugurated Hawar Resort by Mantis marks the first strategic project implemented under the Master Plan for the Hawar Islands archipelago. This plan aims to enhance the kingdom's tourism appeal by capitalizing on its unique position as the region's only archipelagical nation, complemented by a rich marine environment and diverse islands. The cabinet affirmed the strength and importance of the Electricity and Water Control Center inaugurated by His Royal Highness in enhancing infrastructure efficiency and increasing the kingdom's capacity to support future developments. In this regard, the cabinet commended the efforts of the Ministry of Electricity and Water Affairs and the Electricity and Water Authority. The cabinet emphasized that implementing projects in the electricity and water sector consolidates major development initiatives and bolsters the kingdom's economy. On the occasion of the upcoming 2025 New Year, The cabinet highlighted the kingdom's various key achievements throughout 2024, marking another milestone in a series of accomplishments in line with the kingdom's comprehensive development over the past 25 years since the beginning of His Majesty's reign and supported by His Royal Highness. The cabinet expressed its best wishes for Bahrain's continuous progress and prosperity and conveyed hopes for global peace, security, and stability. The cabinet commended the Celebrate Bahrain season, which featured a variety of sporting, cultural, and artistic events. These events saw strong participation from citizens and residents, reflecting the deep connection to the kingdom's heritage and cultural identity. The cabinet commended the third edition of the Muharraq Nights Festival and acknowledged the organizational efforts of the Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities, as well as the Manama Retro event, and the contributions of the Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority. The cabinet then approved the following: a memorandum submitted by the Government Executive Committee regarding the developments of the Government Priority Framework 4.0. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Information and Communication Technology regarding the digital transformation of government services, including the development of 100 services to improve efficiency and accessibility. A memorandum submitted by the Minister of Works regarding the development of the Kingdom's road network and the improvement of traffic flow. A memorandum submitted by the Minister of Cabinet Affairs regarding updates to the Cabinet Manual. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Legal and Legislative Affairs on the government's response to 3 proposals submitted by the Representatives' Council. The Cabinet then reviewed a memorandum submitted by the Minister of Legal Affairs regarding the outcomes of the implementation of Bahrain's legislative plan for 2024. The Cabinet then took note of the following ministerial reports: outcomes of Bahrain's participation in the extraordinary meeting of the GCC Ministerial Council regarding the latest developments in Syria and Lebanon; outcomes of the 44th session of the Council of Arab Ministers of Social Affairs held in Bahrain; the external participation of Bahrain's ministers and the visits of foreign ministers to Bahrain in January 2025. The President of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, SCIA, Sheikh Abdulrahman bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Khalifa, announced a new strategy to further enhance understanding of the Holy Quran in Bahraini society. He emphasized that this strategy includes 4 integrated programs and various Quran media programs. The President of SCIA emphasized that the strategy will be implemented by the Institute of Qira'at under the supervision of the GCC General Secretariat in collaboration with the relevant departments of the Ministry of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Waqf, and the Ministry of Information and other governmental organizations and the private sector. He emphasized that the strategy stems from His Majesty the King's directives to honor the Holy Quran's central role in Muslim life, noting that this initiative represents another milestone in promoting the Holy Quran understanding and engagement. Sheikh Abdulrahman bin Mohammed commended the government led by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister for the ongoing for such programs. The Interior Ministry Under Secretary for Nationality, Passports and Residence Affairs, Sheikh Hisham bin Abdulrahman Al Khalifa, announced the launch of a new service that delivers passports in Bahrain within 24 hours. The delivery will occur immediately after the issuance and replacement applications are approved via the national portal Bahrain.bh, where the applicant should be inside Bahrain. Sheikh Hisham bin Abdulrahman said that the new service was launched after the high demand for passport delivery services inside Bahrain, which has reached more than 7,500 requests since the launch in August. He added that it is part of the NPRA development initiatives approved by the Cabinet. The Undersecretary also affirmed that the new service will save time and effort as beneficiaries could apply via Bahrain.bh. Following the approval of a service as part of the entries of the Government Innovation Competition FICRA, launched by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, the National Ambulance Centre launched the first responder for ambulance motorcycles. The service is part of a mechanism to enhance effectiveness and swift response to emergencies, especially in areas with traffic jams and narrow roads in all governorates. The procedures to reach the accident sites consist of two main phases. The first stage involves the deployment of the first respondents via ambulance motorcycles by the National Ambulance Operations Room after calling the emergency hotline 999. Priority is given to areas that have hard for ambulance vehicles to reach. The second stage is by providing immediate emergency services, including cases of cardiac and respiratory arrest, accidents and injuries, bleeding of all kinds, convulsions, drowning and severe choking, in addition to fainting, low blood pressure and emergency childbirth cases. There will be coordination with conventional ambulance services for backup and transport if needed. An integrated team of paramedics with motorcycle driving licenses received intensive training in on-road ambulance services to meet the requirements of swift emergency response. The Muharraq Nights Festival continues to attract visitors from all age groups, praised for its variety of events and organization. The Pearl Museum at CID Majlis is an icon of Bahrain's heritage, showcasing pearls as a form of Bahrain's cultural heritage. The festival highlights the Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities' keenness to preserve the country's history and heritage, providing an opportunity for visitors to get up close and personal with the heritage of their ancestors. The Pearl Museum's facilities and architectural design details embody Bahrain's ancient history, reflecting the country's national identity and heritage. The Kingdom of Bahrain continues to strengthen its position as one of the most prominent tourist and cultural destinations in the region by organizing events that support the national economy. More in this report.
Manama Retro, organized by the Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority, comes under the slogan, "A classic experience across the ages," to reflect the classic period from the 1960s to the 1990s. Manama Retro stands as an artistic masterpiece that revives the aesthetics of a historical era that is still present in the memory of generations. The event is a captivating experience that transports visitors back in time to relive details of the past, where originality meets innovation in a wonderful simulation of places and times.
I really love Manama Retro. I'm so excited to be here actually, and I heard about it on Instagram, and I love everything that is, old school Bahrain, so that's why I wanted to come here. And I came here because it reminds me of Bahrain growing up here, and it's very nostalgic, and I love all the vibes here, the music, the design, the photography, all the campaigns. I'm loving it so much.
The thing about this event is that it's just so authentic. Like when I was looking online, I felt like it wouldn't be this real. But when you come here and you experience it for yourself, you will see how much of a throwback it is. It takes you back in time. It's not just the start, but even the end. When you enter the shops, when you enter the other places in the market, it's incredibly beautiful.
The event succeeds in blending heritage with contemporary touches that add an artistic and aesthetic dimension to the experience. Traditional fashion with their bright colors and food carts that serve traditional cuisine with delicious aromas and craftsmen's demonstrations that showcase the skills of ancestors are all elements that revive daily life in the old days and make visitors experience rare moments. Manama Retro is not only a retrospective but also an invitation to reflect and learn about this beautiful time period and how it can be a source of inspiration for future generations.
As part of Bahrain's festive season, the Heritage Village continues its annual festival, which is a unique opportunity to enjoy a festive atmosphere that combines entertainment and celebration of heritage in a framework consisting of originality and innovation. This year's edition features interactive artistic performances celebrating Bahraini heritage and culture, along with live heritage demonstrations and various folk arts. The festival provides a unique opportunity to experience a festive atmosphere that blends entertainment with cultural celebration, allowing visitors from Bahrain and abroad to closely explore authentic Bahraini heritage. The Heritage Village itself showcases facilities and architectural models representing significant historical periods of the kingdom.
يا محلى وطرول فرض العدل والزين عشنا بهوى الفرجان
يمعتنا بالطيبين
يا محلى وطرول فرض العدل والزين عشنا بهوى الفرجان يمعتنا